watching Prime Morning and it's time for Prime Inside. I might be smiling just because I had a conversation with my guest, and yes, he actually made me laugh with that comment. His name is Honorable Sam Nate George, and he is the MP for Ningo Pram Pram. He's here today to help us have some conversations. I said to him earlier, give it us. I mean, give it to us. Tell us everything. And he said, no. Not after his party chairman has declared him as a bad boy.
A convicted bad boy.
Welcome, Sam.
Thanks.
Good morning. How are you today? Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here, Rosling, and a very good morning to our viewers and to the entire Joy Prime team. It's good to be here. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yes. It's been quite a hectic year for you last year, right?
Yeah, last year was it was a quite interesting one. A lot of work, constituency, parliament. I decided to challenge myself and get involved in 2 master's programs at the same time.
Oh, nice.
We had the bill that I'm sponsoring in Parliament as well. A lot of work done on that in the background. Launched the Jata Foundation in the constituency. So it was quite a good, very, very busy year. It was good, very productive. I guess it's taking a toll on me as a human being because of the amount of stress and pressure involved. Managed to complete one of the master's programs last year. I should be finishing the other one this year. Still took part in a number of things on the floor of the House. And yeah, this year we're looking to do a lot more in the House. We're looking to have the bill finalized and passed this year. We're looking to see a lot more social work done in the constituency with the Jata Foundation, because what I've basically done is to focus all of my CSR interventions into the foundation so that we could do a lot more. The professionals who handle that and make sure that we're able to do a lot more there, and I can focus more on Parliament and hopefully raise enough hell to kick the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Bawumia government out of power. Yeah. So this year, watch out. It's going to be holy fire. Holy
fire, he says. I like that. So 2024 is definitely going to be something else. We ought to expect that.
I mean, 2024 is, for me, it's going to be the most difficult election this country has seen. I hear people say that, oh, it's a done deal for the NDC. And I say, well, it's because you don't understand the DNA of the president who's currently running the country and the party in government, especially now that the NPP itself is having an identity crisis, because this is not the NPP. This is a family cabal of kleptocrats who have chosen to engage in state capture. And so even the NPP is fighting for its own soul to regain its identity. But when you have a group of fraudsters and kleptocrats in government whose whole goal and ambition is to rape the public purse. You see, people say politicians steal from the public purse. You have a government that is stealing the public purse.
Thou sayest, Sam George.
No, it's not thou sayest, Sam George. Look, and this year, next year, we will bring serious damning evidence of the things we're talking about. And you just need to look at the Auditor General's report on the COVID-19. And I'm happy I see it on the Public Accounts Committee. When we get to that report, we would even do further discoveries than what the Auditor General has done. But like I said, politicians are accused of dipping their hands in the public purse and stealing it. These guys have just cut the whole purse and they are stealing the whole thing and taking it away. I mean, the levels
you agree with that perception?
Theft,
that politicians are like that?
No, I agree with the perception that the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is a government of thieves.
Not the NDC government.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
Not all politicians.
I'm saying not all politicians, and I have always said it. I challenge anybody. I've been in politics now, frontline politics. I'm serving in the office of the president since what is about 10 years now. Since I was appointed as a presidential staffer, I've worked in the Ministry of Communications on secondment from the office of the president. I've been in Parliament for 6 years. I dare anybody to show one shred of evidence or just even suggest that I have been engaged in any act of corruption. I'm not an angel, but I'm very careful when it comes to public funds. I'm very careful when it comes to the people's money. And there are many others like me. And so I disagree with the perception that all politicians are corrupt, all politicians are thieves. No. Okay. But the point I'm making here is that the guys who are running the affairs today, Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, and their sidekick Ken Ofori-Atta, I said they're a bunch of criminals and fraudsters stealing the public purse.
Let's talk about privatization of state-owned enterprises in Ghana here.
Yeah.
We are in critical times where the economy is tough. People are of the opinion that, you know, there are things that we could do to salvage the situation. Do you agree that if we should sell some of our state-owned properties or state-owned enterprises, we could fix this dire situation?
No, I don't. And this is coming from me, who belongs to a political party that had the Divestiture Implementation Committee, the DIC, that sold a number of state enterprises under the Rawlings administration. I think that as a government, we must, and as a nation, as a people, we must learn from our previous mistakes. I think that the DIC did some good job, but also just went overboard with the benefit of hindsight. And so it's easy for me to sit here and criticize the work they did. This is not in any way to slight the fantastic individuals who did the job that they did. But I think that we sit back and look at the kinds of state institutions we've sold. And I ask myself, we sell these institutions to Ghanaians or Ghanaian interests with foreign partnership. They come in and they're able to run the same institutions and make profit with the same, largely same Ghanaian workers. So why is it that when it's government run, we're unable to break even? And let me just give a typical example. GBC, multimedia. Joy FM, or the multimedia group, is running some of your radio stations on GBC frequencies. So you're basically running on GBC assets. You may not be making windfall profits because the media landscape itself is a very challenged landscape. But Joy FM and the multimedia group is able to make a mark. You're able to stay afloat. You're able to pay competitive salaries. I mean, at every time in every year, we see like the transfer season, like in the Premier League, we see journalists move.
Yeah.
Moving, you move from another media house.
Yes,
it wasn't cheap and easy. You understand me? They were able to get
Maybe it was cheap and easy.
But the point I'm making is, then let's compare with GBC. And look at how GBC is reeling and struggling with the kinds of assets that GBC has. Maybe if we give those assets to a multimedia or any of the other private media groups, the kinds of things you'll be able to do, giving the assets that GBC has. Why is GBC struggling? And so that for me is a clear example of the fact that the problem is not necessarily just diversification. The problem actually is the mindset of the people who manage. You have people say, oh, and we have that mindset.
But when they're in the private sector.
But when you're in the private sector, but they give off their best. Again, I say that the same Ghanaians who work in the civil service or work in the public sector and are very lackadaisical about their work, and they're lackadaisical, they don't get to the office early. They tell you that, oh, Charlie, me that chemo, I slept and passed. And so they wake up at 9 o'clock and get to the office at 10 o'clock. This same person, give him a visa to the UK, and this is at 28, 30 degrees Celsius. The sleep was so sweet, he left. Now take him to the UK when it is -2 or 1 degree, or Canada where it is -8. And he will still wake up at 5 a.m. to get to the office at 6 a.m.
So when we look at the government institutions and we look at the private institutions,
yes,
the private institutions are running better. So then if we should sell them to the private institutions, don't you think that we
don't get the benefits of it? Because then you realize that the state institutions are sold for a pittance. Most times to persons who are cronies or acolytes or friends of people with political power and leverage. And so then you realize that the state actually does not get benefits. If you're selling a state institution and the state is still going to maintain majority shareholding, and so profits are going to be declared, I'll be great, I'll be excited. Now let me give you another typical example of how sales of state property doesn't work for us. Vodafone, state enterprise. We sold Vodafone to, was it a Mauritians or something, and then the Kufuor one that happened. The Kufuor one was a sale to Vodafone from the Mauritians,
yes,
to the
70,
UK group,
30.
you know, and that was Kufuor's time. That was like 2007.
Yes.
Okay.
Or 2006,
2007. Yeah. To now, that's what? If it was 2006, that's 17 years. This will be 17 years. This 2023.
Yeah. Is it? No, it's like 16.
Yeah, but 2023 will make it 7 years. This is from 2006.
Yes.
Vodafone has never declared profit. So government has never got a peso for its 30% shares. Yet Vodafone UK made revenue from the operations of Vodafone Ghana. They've milked it, they are done, they are handing it over, they are going. Westel was sold and made Airtel. Okay, give Ghana government shares in there. And the Westel thing also happened like 2004 when Esla Usu was then CEO for Westel. You've gone round and we've come back. Now Airtel to go, they claim they bought it for $1. In the almost 20 years of Airtel's existence, government of Ghana, revenue, 0. So what is the value to the Ghanaian people when we sell these companies? Do you get it? So the manner in which the sales are done, in which the divestiture is done,
there's too much corruption
it doesn't. I mean, typical of Ghana, everything has a certain tinge of interest and personal interest in there, and so you realize that the state doesn't get the benefit of it. So look, today, Tema Refinery is struggling on his feet.
Almost dead.
Let us make. Tema Refinery is almost dead because of political intervention and personal interest. Look, when Tema Refinery refines product, when it's working and it refines product, certain people cannot bring in finished product into the country. Look, it's always about the money.
So
let me explain Tema Refinery.
Say it as it is.
Tema Refinery works and is able to refine product. It then means that people, the market through government is able to provide people fuel at the pumps. And this is what Mahama did. President Mahama. What he did was he created what we call the tripartite group. GOIL, BOST, and then TOR. BOST TOR is in a mess, had always been in a mess. And so they couldn't raise letters of credit. No bank would give them a letter of credit. But BOST was in a good position. BOST had good money. So if you remember, he appointed Kwame Wadako as the CEO. It's the first time we ever saw it. CEO for two state institutions, both BOST and TOR. Yeah. So that it's one man running the two institutions. Now, Kwame Wadako will use the books, the good bank balance of BOST to raise letters of credit to import crude. When he imports the crude, then he will pass the crude on to TOR. Because TOR can't import crude. Nobody will give TOR the letters of credit. He passes it on to TOR. TOR refines the product. When they refine the product, TOR is paid the refinery charge. We have an ex-refinery fee placed in there. Then TOR takes the refined product, hands it over to GOIL, which is a state marketer, and GOIL will sell the finished product. So you realize that you use one state institution to bring in crude. And once you do that, and TOR is refining, 40,000 barrels a day, you begin to meet the national demand. What that then did was that private individuals, who finance politicians anyway, who bring in finished products, now, because TOR is producing, and you're giving to the biggest OMC in Ghana, which is a government institution, GOIL, which has the largest network of filling stations, the quantities of finished product that they could import was dropping, had to drop. Because if you bring it, because TOR is working. And that means that is less profit for private individuals. So what happens? Mahama leaves office, Akufo-Addo comes, and the first thing they do is to stop that arrangement. And then they systematically kill TOR. Now what happens is the demand on the market still exists. So you've created a problem with a crippling of TOR. You've stopped BOST from supporting TOR, and at the time BOST was doing that, because TOR was now refining and making the ex-refinery thing, TOR's books also started getting better. So what they've done now is they've killed the state institutions, and now private individuals are the ones importing finished product and using TOR's own storage tanks to store it. So now TOR has become a warehouse,
so with this,
and not a refinery. And individuals are making millions of dollars every week.
No, but
that is where we are as a country.
You people are the MPs in Parliament. You are the MPs. You are the MPP. No, I didn't say N. I said M. So you can pardon me that. You are the members of in Parliament, okay? And you are supposed to be our voice. When you heard about this, what did you do about it?
Oh, you have a government that is stone deaf, a government that is mumui. When no matter what you say, they don't listen. You think they'll listen to us? Even his own MPs.
But you fight his for the people. We see you fighting for the people, and it happens.
But when I fight, then people come and say some judge is a rascal. He's always fighting in parliament. Me too, I want to be a gentleman. Measure suit. His own MPs told him that he should sack his cousin Ken. What has he done? They said Muhammad was a dead goat. This one is not just dead. They've sliced him and put pakoshito on him and cooked him. They deny and kaka. Like he just won't listen. He doesn't listen to anybody. And so when you have a president, that's why I said, look.
But have you raised this? Because the people out there haven't heard you people raise it too many times.
You see, the things that happen in parliament and happen in the committees of parliament are not always public.
It's not everything.
It's not. Look, what you see in parliament, that's your cameras come and capture every day. Your people are walking over there capturing. It's what, like 15% of parliament's work. The main cracks of parliament's work happens in the committees, and the cameras are not there. That's where we sit down and do the real hard lifting of parliament. And you see, at times you're also mindful of the things you can come out to speak about, because maybe something is still pending. I mean, this I can speak about because so you say we'll talk gold for oil. When we come to gold for oil too, I'll show you what is wrong with that deal and how that whole arrangement again.
Let's talk about the Vodafone. Let's now talk about Vodafone being sold to Telecel. Good, bad. What does the future hold?
Well, because I sit on the communications committee, and again, like I said just before I ended, we're minded of the things we talk about when it's still live before Parliament. In fact, this is a matter that has not even come before the committee yet. The ministry has not mentioned this sale.
But it's been approved.
By who? It's been approved by the NCA.
Yes.
For them to start. And that's what I'm saying. So these are the problems of our country. You have ministers of state who behave as though their ministries are their personal properties. And so they are running it like a pampim chop bar, or an pampim store. You're asking yourself, there's a ministry and a regulator that reports to the people through Parliament. You're going to do a sale like this, and you don't think that it's important. Nobody's asking you to come and seek permission. It's important for you to put your oversight committee in the know and share information and facts with the oversight committee. Like I said, I'm going to stay away from going into the main details, but the few issues that automatically, and I've granted interviews on this, even on your sister station, and I've raised the issues. For us as members of Parliament, our interest here is Telecel came in 5 months ago. They came in, the ministry, through the regulator, refused to approve that deal.
Yes.
And said to us that Telecel did not have the capacity, they did not have the technical know-how, they didn't have the finances, and so they drove them away. What has happened in 5 months? That all of a sudden Telecel is now having the capacity, having the financial. What's going on?
Maybe they're going to work it out.
So we need to see, we need to know. You need to establish to us that you are handing over a proper national, a critical national asset like that into the hands of a private entity. Look, and some of the things that have happened with Vodafone, when Vodafone was sold on Akufo, we had a satellite. It was added to the whole deal. Ghana had a satellite. We sold it. And so we need to be careful, but even that one came to Parliament. If you remember, the Vodafone deal came to Parliament, that was where some $5,000 matter, if you remember, PCRPL free, back in the day, came and blew the whistle. But we need to get clarity on this matter. We need to understand, are there going to be job losses? And that for me is extremely critical. That was another
thing I was going to ask you.
We need to know what Telecel is bringing. Are there going to be job losses for Ghanaian workers of Vodafone? If there's going to be job losses, to what extent?
So you haven't seen the contract at all?
I said nothing has come to... Look, even to... See, I'm a Dangme boy. There are some things we say in Dangme that are not TV friendly. And Dangme is the mother language of Ghana. So if you think that Ghana there are things in Ghana that I said, there are things, if I say it now in Dangme, I'm sure NMC will come after you.
So as of now, because, you don't know
I said, even to call us and say some of those expletives in Ghana and say, look at the documents, we've not been told. have members of the NPP on the committee calling me and asking me. They are calling me and asking me, Honorable, have you heard anything about the deal? Members of the committee.
What are the implications then?
The implications are very serious. First and foremost, we need to understand what Telecel is bringing in, what innovations are they bringing, what is their strategic plan. You understand me? I'll be lying if I sat here and said I didn't know. But you see, what I know by virtue of being an interested party in the space, that I get to know from unofficial conversations I have with maybe interested parties, cannot form the basis of public conversation. Because the ministry has a responsibility to tell Parliament through its committee that this is what is coming. Because the question I'm asking myself, what innovations are they bringing? What new things are they bringing? How are they going to deal with what appears to be a very significant market player, MTN, in the space? Are we going to keep recycling ownership of Vodafone? What is the strategic plan? Are they committing to a 5-year, 10-year? What are they doing with the license renewals of Vodafone as it sits now? I mean, there are critical questions that need to be answered that we don't have any answers about. Even the structure of the deal. We're hearing that it is contingent on Vodafone doing some kind of transaction with a third-party infrastructure company. Look, it's all... Charlie...
Sam,
it's 1 year.
Okay.
And you get this clarity when people come to you. But you see, because people are afraid of accountability, people are afraid that you can't come and sit before Sam George and bring some wishy-washy deal and I won't ask you questions. And so they won't come.
But did Parliament approve of it?
So that's the point. Parliament needs to approve of any international transaction based on the Constitution. I think Article 175 or something, 171. Public international transactions. Right now, what they will tell you is that the NCA has given a conditional approval for the conversations to start. The deal has not been consummated yet. The sale has not been completed. You understand me? And when you are dealing with a member of the cabal, the family cabal, you need to be very careful. Because the same minister, if you remember, the same communication minister, when they did whatever they did with Airtel Tigo, that illicit child of the amorous relationship between Airtel and Tigo, when they had that illicit child and said they were selling Airtel Tigo, she came on your network, your sister network, granted interviews and said, I have sold it for $1. And remember, I asked her how much her iPencil cost. That's a whole telecom company was sold for $1. Her iPencil cost more than that. When eventually I forced her to come to Parliament by way of a question, you see, on the floor of Parliament, you need to be careful. Media House there, she can come and reluctantly give you information on all of that. On the floor of the House, it's different. When we summoned her there, not to committee, plenary, she came and said she has not sold Airtel Tigo. So the minister's claim to Parliament now is that Airtel Tigo has not been sold. Even though we all know that that is a lie. Wore fine dress, beautiful makeup, and came to lie to the people of Ghana. Because on the Indian Stock Exchange, it has been announced that Airtel Tigo has been sold. Airtel Bharti, which is the parent company, has washed their hands off Airtel Tigo. But the minister has come fine, and come to lie. So that's a matter that I will deal with this year.
You deal with the Telecel matter as well.
So I told you 2023 to 2024. It's the way it's our front. We pray for life.
If you see the documents and you are not happy about the documents, will Parliament stop at this Telecel deal?
You see, again, we need to be careful so that we don't overreach. The powers of Parliament are vast, but also limited because of the separation of powers. Parliamentary select committees and Parliament do not get into the day-to-day management and micromanagement of state institutions. And so I will not sit here and say we would stop the sale. What will happen is if there is the need for approval of it, and that's what I'm saying, we haven't seen the deal. We don't know how the deal is being structured. Is it going to qualify under the Constitution as a international financial transaction? Will it have to come to Parliament? Or is this a deal between two foreign entities, Vodafone UK and Telecel? So then there's no government entity. Is it Vodafone UK selling its shares? Or is it Vodafone Ghana? You see, they have huge legal consequences. But you can only tell this when you see what arrangement is being done. Who is the seller? Who is the buyer? 70% of shares, yes, we get it. But those shares, in whose name are they held? Are they held in the name of the Ghanaian subsidiary, which is a Ghanaian company, Vodafone Ghana? Or are they held as in the name of the parent company, Vodafone UK? Who are the trustees? I mean, all of those would then determine whether it must come to Parliament for approval. If it must come to Parliament for approval, and then we see the deals and the details of the deal, and we think that that is not in the best interest of our country, we can block it. In November, we blocked the same minister. She came with at this time that we said we were broke, she came with almost a $500 million loan agreement. We blocked it. We blocked it. You understand me? Yes, we blocked it. Even though our MPP members came and told her, hey,
oh, they come to
you? Yes. Oh, yes. And so that day when we blocked it on the floor, even her own people told her that she should go back and come back. Yes. So Parliament can work when it wants to work.
Right.
Okay. But
let's go to the gold for oil. Gold for oil. We are told that it will help strengthen the city. You have a lot that you want to say about
gold for oil.
Let's let people understand what gold for oil really is, and how Ghanaians will benefit from it. Or if we want, tell us as well.
Gold for oil. They say because Baumia is a whiskey, he has brought it. Something nobody has thought about before. So we should go and find Palanque and carry him and be to Dondo and follow him. The man has sent us back to the age of the Flintstones. And you say we should celebrate him.
What if it's going to save the city?
Save the city how? Ghana people. The gold, are you paying for it to carry? The gold that we're using to buy, we're buying from the mining companies. The Bank of Ghana is buying from them. It's not for free. So when you are paying for the gold, again, illumination. Let us see what the facts are. How are you paying the mining companies? We know the mining companies sell their gold in dollars.
So I was going to ask, is it going to be sold in dollars or in cedis?
So the Bank of Ghana, it is cedi you print. You hold dollar as our foreign reserve. So are you using our foreign reserve dollar to buy the gold locally? Or are you using cedi to buy the gold? We don't know. You haven't told us. 1. 2. Okay, so you just did a coding. You had an interview G-step. So let me do it like the way the coders do algorithm. If it is cedi, then we'll proceed along a certain track and say, okay, you are using cedi to buy the gold. So it's not having any effect on our Bank of Ghana exchanges, even though we've realized that this is the lowest we've ever been in the Fourth Republic. We have only 6 weeks of import cover, the very lowest. But you let's assume that they are paying with dollar. If they are paying with dollar, it's dead on arrival, cost 90. But the even more critical issue here is this. They tell us the gold for oil is getting us cheaper cheaper oil. It's a lie. Why do I say it's a lie?
Some people, before you go into that, some people are also of the opinion that if we should even buy the gold in dollar, the dollar stays in the country. It doesn't go out. Do you agree?
But who told you the mining companies keep the dollar here?
They don't.
Rosalind, they don't. They repatriate. Newmont, Anglo Gold, they don't. They repatriate.
So the dollar will still go.
That's why I've told you that this whole thing. The other day I said you have fraud boys in government. People said that didn't know what I was talking about. Fraud on Kwana.
You were going to make a point before I cut you.
Now, if you look at what they have imported, they've brought in 40 metric tons, about 40 million metric tons in the first shipment. Now, if you look at what the price of oil, of crude was on the market at the time they did the transaction, was about $930 per metric ton. When you do the calculation of using the international value of gold, for the amount of gold we paid whoever supplied us, and then you'd strike it over the 40 million metric tons, we're paying literally $973 per metric ton, $34 more than if we went with cash. So it's not cheaper oil.
So it's more expensive.
Exactly. And so when they tell you it's gold for cheaper oil, and the gold for oil is bringing us cheaper oil, it's a lie. Because the oil, the cost of the price, you see, when you say something is cheaper, it means that Sam George is selling his own for 10 cedis. Roslyn says, oh, I'll give to you for 7 cedis or 8 cedis, then it's cheaper. But if Sam George is selling at 10 cedis, and Roslyn is also selling at 10 cedis or even 10.5, and then your cameraman is coming to buy, Sam George says, I want cash. Let's assume we are both selling at 10 cedis.
Right.
Sam George says, pay me cash. You say, oh, I don't need cash, but your daughter that is in your house, bring her to come and work for me as a nanny or as a house help. And he comes to you. Is it cheaper or more expensive?
Maybe we don't have enough cash. What about that?
Doesn't mean that what you are buying, what he's bought is cheaper. Because the value is still 10 cedis. The fact that one paid money and the other gave something in exchange does not mean that what he has gotten for the exchange is cheaper.
What is the main reason for the gold for oil? Is it to strengthen the city?
Hey, Roslyn, you will live long. You will give birth to twins.
Amen.
Because you see, you've asked the crux of the matter. Why have we gotten to this age of the Flintstones, the Stone Age, where people were doing trade by barter? The next time you don't tell you that they are looking for people, school children should go to the shores and go and look for cowries, because we'll use that to buy something else. Maybe the Chinese will like the cowries. I mean, why have we gotten here? We've gotten here because they have stolen the public purse. These are the people who told us they were better managers of the economy. They have run down our economy to a place where right now nobody look, Ghana is considered junk. That's when I did a tweet and said that our currency is like toilet paper and our economy is like a KVIP. People said I wasn't patriotic. But
this is coming from you. Thou sayest Sam George. You are saying it's alleged that they are frauds, but we can't say it for a fact. We don't have
Moody's, Standards and Poor's, Fitch, all the rating institutions have rendered Ghana's bonds and Ghana's economy as junk status.
But not fraud.
Oh, but what brought us to junk status is the fraud that's going on in government.
It could be mismanagement, not fraud. Is fraud not too harsh a word?
So you are saying yes, but one
because I don't have proof with regards to the fraud.
Okay, I didn't
say that.
But that's what you are saying.
That's what you are saying.
You said mismanagement.
It could be.
No, because if it is mismanagement, and you see, mismanagement again is a very broad scope. Mismanagement can be because you are incompetent, or you intentionally mismanage it to benefit from it.
No. We all know that there's global challenge. We all know there's global challenge. So maybe, yes,
COVID,
during the global
Russia,
challenge,
Ukraine.
yes.
Okay, fantastic. The Russia-Ukraine war, they are dropping the bombs at Alaju and Caprice. The bombs that they are dropping is at Alaju and Caprice. That's why your economy is suffering more than Ukraine. Where they are fighting the war, Ukraine, that is receiving bombs every day. Their currency is not junk.
But we do agree that globally,
Ukraine is not doing barter trade. Nobody is running away from a global challenge. But yours is not a global challenge. Yours is a domestic, demonic, infested challenge. Look, you've got people who have, and Rosalind, you see, I started reading the Auditor General's report on COVID-19. For example, in Adaklu.
The 11 billion lost.
Oh, Adaklu, 15 million. 15 million Ghana cedis was used to pay. They paid 15 million Ghana cedis for uncompleted properties as isolation centers in Adaklu. For a period, they leased it for 25 years. So that the money will be big. So you clearly see that this is a group of individuals. Somebody has uncompleted buildings. Says, okay, come, isolation center. You pay us for it, and we'll give you a lease to cover 25 years. So uncompleted buildings, lease of 25 years as an isolation center. They never used one for one day. 15 million gone. Tell me which country in this world, including China, where they say the COVID started from, built an isolation center with 25 years lease, or went and leased a property as an isolation center for 25 years.
Is this why you're calling them fraud? I just asked the question,
this is
yes, no.
If this is not fraud,
why?
What is it? If this is not stealing, what is this? Rosalind, look, they bought water, bottled water, 20 million Ghana cedis. They bought tissue paper, toilet roll. They had got if you know. Sabi, kafras, early morning. 18 million Ghana cedis. When we had COVID, where nobody could travel and do conferences, they did conferences, 36 million. Look, if this is not enough to get us angry as a people, Roslyn, do you know what 36 million would do in terms of even providing desks for children in our schools?
Building schools.
Even don't build new schools. Look, in the schools that are there now, there are no desks. In the children are having to sit on blocks. But somebody sits down and steals 36 million, because you can't call it anything that he went for conferences during COVID when we had a lockdown. Somebody claimed they bought bottled water during COVID for 20 million Ghana cedis. Somebody bought toilet roll, 18 million Ghana cedis. Toilet roll. Why? You check toilet roll Ghana for you now?
Maybe.
Maybe. Ah! And if you didn't get it, then who got it?
So where's the money?
People's personal accounts. It is that has brought us to this place where now the government is having to steal using a debt exchange program from people. People have saved their money, put in government bonds. When people, Ghanaians went and did men's gold, you said we are greedy people. Why did we go and chase men's gold? When Ghanaians did DKM, you said they are greedy. Why did they go and chase DKM? Okay, you government, your bonds, we will put our money there. Now we've put our money there. At least men's gold was paying us interest. They were giving us our money before you close them down. You, our interest. That one there, where can it? You said that one gone. Our principal, young say yes, car, you be too honor. I know cry, you say you give us haircut. Hey.
You might not get access to it this year.
And you see, that's even what breaks my heart. Because many of the people who have government bonds are very elderly people who've put all of their life savings in there. Many of them buy their medication monthly with the interest that they get. Now you say they should wait 15 years to get their money. You give them something next year. So this year, how would they survive with their... and don't be surprised when people come and tell you that mortuary business will boom, because a lot of people will die. Because people cannot afford to buy their medications.
Sam, let me go on social media and read a few messages. Good morning, Rosalind. It's obvious the current government don't think about Ghanaians, but their families and their generations unborn. But I'm just happy NDC has vibrant comrades who marched the steps and exposed their demonic acts. Good. God bless my Honorable Sam Jatta George. And once again, happy birthday to him. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You said you didn't have a party, but it's all right.
Yeah.
You were supposed to invite me to your house.
No, I did a debt exchange program with the party. Charlie, you have to be careful because, yeah, party in Emery.
Anyway, hi, good morning. I'm Romeo from Kumasi Boko. Romeo sent us a message from Kumasi Boko. He says, I'm really enjoying the show. Greetings to my best friend, Rankin UCC, Winnipeg Campus, Kumasi Tana. So great work. Okay. Sam George has no moral right to refer to NPP family as kleptocrats. He should apologize and talk about Airbus scandal, Ford gifts and corruption under his past failed government from Honorable Senior Chris.
Can I just respond to that quickly?
Go ahead.
The NPP government has been in power for 6 years. If there was anything, any value, any truth in the lies they peddled about President Mahama, about Airbus, why have they not prosecuted him? Why they set up a whole OSP? Why have they not been able to prosecute anybody under Airbus? Fordgate. What is criminal about it? The lies they told. You see, they tell lies and believe their own lies. That Ford that they claim was a gift to President Mahama was used by President Akufo-Addo when he came to office. His government used the Ford. So if the car is there in the presidential fleet and President Akufo-Addo's security detail used that Ford, how do you say that is corruption? They can tell their own lies and tickle themselves. But I'm saying, if that's the reason why Ghanaians voted NDC out, you've taken us out. Now you who said we weren't doing it right, we brought you in. You there, your own, even the devil sits down and shouts blood of Jesus. Because the devil himself cannot steal. The devil who came to kill, steal and destroy cannot do as much damage as Akufo-Addo and Abaumia have done.
Well, let me go back into this one. My sister, too much politics in state institutions. So the right people are not put in affairs to manage. Rather, lazy gossipers and bootlickers are considered over honest and hardworking people. I think this is in regards to selling state-owned enterprises to the private sector. And maybe that could also help, you know. That we should sell more state enterprises? You don't think so?
It will enrich individuals and the state will not get any benefit for it. You know, and for me, like I said, Ghanaians are able to wake up in the cold. Hey, at times in London, but if when you see them, they've worn 6 jeans, they've worn like 4 jackets, and they are running to catch train and bus. Because if he gets to work 1 minute late, that same person bring him here to Ghana.
So how can we change it?
Obey King Kong, you come to work at 9 o'clock, you work till 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock you go to chop bar and go and eat fufu. By the time he gets back, it's 3 o'clock, 30 minutes, he's closed.
But Sam, you agree
it is the mindset.
Yeah,
and you see, we need to have leadership.
There's nothing political, right?
You see,
the mindset is the people. It has nothing to do with politics.
It is about the mind. It is politics that shapes the mindset. When people look at the kind of leadership that they have, they begin to mirror it. Okay, so you go back and speak to your father, like I have done with my father, and those who were young pioneers. The mindset Nkrumah gave this country, people work. Why is it that the factories we are selling today were factories that were built under Nkrumah and were working? It's the mindset. Mindset is a function of leadership. Leadership, when the president came, even though he stole, again, from day one, he was stealing. Even the speech he read at his inauguration, even though it was a stolen speech, when he said, let us be citizens and not spectators, what was the national reaction to it? You saw people say, okay, let's put our hands to the wheel. Let's work. The president had a lot of goodwill when he came into office.
So what happened? From your angle?
Because the president is
he still has goodwill. No, he doesn't.
Which goodwill?
He doesn't.
Go to Makola and go and shout Akufo-Addo. If somebody doesn't slap you from behind, you thank your God. Look, the president has not just lost the goodwill, he sold it and now he's bought badwill. And look, you can't just explain how the president has run this country down. And you know what is annoying? What is annoying and irritating is not their incompetence and the lack of competence or ability to steer the affairs of this country. It is the stinking arrogance.
Don't you think they can fix
it? The stinking arrogance that they have when they are incompetent. Wawabong. Also, ahumaswo 24/7. So, you see, when the person doesn't know and opens up and says, please teach me or please help me, you can say, oh, let's put everything aside, let's work for the country. But wawabong, you are trailing your papers, and a TA wants to help you, a lecturer wants to help you. You say, no, don't come. I don't like it. So how do you help such arrogantly incompetent people? The toxic combination of incompetence and arrogance is what is sinking this nation. Atuforsen has come out clear to say, look, I am willing to help government. I'm willing to work with the government team in these negotiations with the IMF. Let's build a proper roadmap on how we do this debt exchange program. Have you seen any overture from government? The government is full of itself, yet is empty up there. Mental capacity 0, arrogance 100.
Won't the oil for gold do anything? Gold for oil, sorry, do anything to the
It's just going to deplete. It's just going to deplete our gold reserves. And don't forget, Ghana is going to run out of gold in the next 25 years. Gold is not an infinite resource; it's finite. Other countries, and you should be asking yourself why. When other countries want to shore up their economy, when they want their currency to rise, they buy gold. They buy gold and hold the gold and leverage their currency on the gold. Countries that don't have gold, that's what they do. You have gold. You are mining it and you are giving it to an Arab country. Take and give us oil.
So in 25 years?
We're running out of gold. There'll be no mining in Ghana in 25 years for gold. It's a finite resource, we'll run out.
So the future for gold is
and they are not planning for it. The little that is left, you know.
What if it strengthens the city? What if?
They've started it. What has happened to the city? the city that the dollar that Bawumia claimed he had arrested, me, I've told you before, is dancing skeleton on his bald head. That dollar has jumped from, by the time he told us he had arrested the dollar and handed the keys over to the IGP, the dollar was trading at 4.8. Today, if you want dollar, you're paying 13.3. When artificially they did whatever they did during the Christmas and the president went and ran his mouth up north, the dollar had dropped to about 8.5. It's 13 now. It's back to 13. And it's rising. And that day when I went on Facebook and said, you must be careful. Because the CD, what they had done to the CD was like a limp male organ that had been given Viagra. It would get erect, it would show strength, but when the effect of the Viagra wears out, it will go back to its original state, limp. It was 12 before they gave the CD Viagra. The Viagra has worn out. It has gone back limp. Now it's 13.
So there's no good future with regards to...
Under this government.
If the NDC should take over, will it be better? Will it scrap the gold for oil?
Let me make it clear.
Go ahead.
The IMF itself, in its negotiations with the government, has made it clear that unless you have fiscal discipline for 10 years, continuous, before you begin to fix the problems that these people have created. The mess Akufo-Addo has created in 6 years. The IMF says unless we have stringent measures for 10 years, so nobody should deceive themselves that President Mahama in 2025 is going to come and say, hey, grandson of Kennedy Agyapong, change, and then everything will change. No, that won't happen. But what you will see is the fiscal discipline that will set our country back on track. And I'm not saying this out of saying sake. President Mahama's government has a track record. You can go and check. President Mahama's government in 2015 did 5%, only 5% borrowing from the central bank. Last year, Akufo-Addo's government, the law says you can't do more than 5%. Previously, it used to be 10% of your previous budget. Last year, Akufo-Addo's government did over 10%, about 12 point something percent from there. In 2016, an election year, under Mahama, we did 0% borrowing from the Bank of Ghana. In an election year, we're able to be so disciplined to do 0% borrowing from the Bank of Ghana. We did not borrow a dime from the Bank of Ghana. We also did not run a budget deficit in an election year, the first time it had ever happened. So when it comes to being tight and fiscally prudent, President Mahama's administration has a track record. Do I trust him? Yes, I do. Because President Mahama, I know, would not fly like an Arabian knight or an Arabian prince and tell me that he has to shower in the air and sleep in the air so that when he arrives at meetings, he's fresh. After using our taxpayers' money to shower in the air and bath and sleep, you still get to the meeting and go and sleep. So what's the value for us? So it is that kind of physical discipline that will come into the system.
What if President Mahama doesn't become the flag bearer of the NDC?
They should just share the country. You should not even say this with your mouth. If you love this country.
I know, I just said what if?
Anybody who loves this country should even hazard that thought. Why? Who?
You're going for election on May 13th.
Bawumia, head of economic management team, to come and run this country. I
said flag bearer.
You are saying, what if Mama is not flag bearer of NDC? Oh, how?
You have Kojo Bones, so you have Kwabena Dufo.
With the greatest of respect to them, me, Sam George, if I stand, I will beat the two of them. How much more John Mama? We have more fans in the NDC than the two of them combined. Anyway, a happy belated birthday to 80th birthday to Dr. Kwabena Dufo. He turned 80 a day before me. He turned 80 on the 21st.
21st has been a while.
That was Saturday. Yesterday was 22nd. My birthday, he's a day before me.
Okay.
So he turned 80. And so
he can run the country.
Oh, please, I haven't said so. By the time he is sworn in, he'll be 82. We see what is happening with Paul
You're mentioning popularity. Do you choose flag bearers based on popularity?
I hadn't landed.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure when it comes to popularity and competence, maybe to me now. How much more my boss, John Mahama? Election day, but I can assure you of one thing: spoiled ballots will come second after President Mahama. Spoiled ballot will come second after President Mahama, and spoiled ballot will make less than 1% of the votes.
Okay.
But it will come second.
So who will come third?
Oh, that one they'll struggle over it. Mr. Dufour and Kojo Bonsu. They'll struggle over third and fourth.
Okay, but sports ballots will be second.
Will definitely come second.
So I asked the question.
Their percentage, if it was alcohol, you bet me their communion. Because it will be so low. They won't get 1%.
So with regards to election, some will not kill me.
I mean, President Mahama in the NDC today. I mean, anybody look and you see for me.
So do you elect
my advice to Ghanaians
based on competency?
Yes, competency, because I'm looking at the track record of all the people. Of all the people. And it's a simple question for me. Of all the three names you have mentioned, very competent people. Okay. But even when you have A students, A starts from 70 to 100. Even when you have A students, there's someone who had 71, or see you're A student. Obinsu wo when you're 80, or see you're A student. You will be when you're 99. Or see you're A student. So even within the A, you have ranges and grades. They are all A students. Mr. Kojo Bonsu is an A student. At least he built track park in Kumasi. So, Bayebi, he has a track record. Dr. Dufour, finance minister, did well. Set up banks, set up Unicredit.
Can I take you to the NPP
and all of that.
You know the NPP also, the NPP, you know, they are also going to elect their flag bearers. What about that? We have competent ones in there.
Like
we have, but they are all competent, like aren't they? Okay, so they are the likes of Dr. Baumia.
The head of, wait. We are going to do this like a pastor and his interpreter. You mentioned the name and I'll tell you why they are not competent. Dr. Baumia, the head of the economic management team that has led us into a debt exchange program that has collapsed our economy, has inflation, official inflation at 54%, unofficial inflation at 120%, has overseen the depreciation of the Ghana cedi by over 100%.
Alan Chemating.
Oh, another joke that has done 1D, 1F that has collapsed. He told us that he was coming to do 1D, 1F and that 1D, 1F was going to bring about the industrialization of our country. Now Kasaprekon is what is calling 1D, 1F. Kasaprekon. Alomo Bites, that has been there before. They are the ones he's calling 1D, 1F. NS Chemist, they are the ones he's calling 1D, 1F. He's been a part of the colossal failure. He's a part of the economic management team. Oh, what a strong team.
But there's Kennedy Agyapong as well, who is also strong, isn't he? They do have...
He's my very good friend. He's my Jawan on the communications committee. If I think that we should make him the town crier for the country, not president. Competence.
All right, a few messages on social media.
Asa,
no.
Those are all they have.
Of course, there's Kwabena Agyapong,
senior engineer, but ono the time we came party way. Nana do no. I mean, we all know what will happen. Post cry man be. They say even or within the NPP, almost see is post cry on Fatebi.
Ejako is also coming in strong.
He's coming back again.
Yeah.
He spoken after he was sacked. When he was sacked, he told us he would speak and tell us the truth. If he could not be honest enough to tell the Ghanaian people what was wrong at the Ministry of Energy and what happened with the boss scandal, we can't trust him to entrust the country into his hands. Next, Bodiera. Shall I proceed with him?
Akuto.
Yes. Or did they overturn body another? Is that what he's going to go to the IMF with?
There are a lot of messages coming in on social media. Let me go read a few messages before we go. Oh, Sam, please, what is that? Go to Nigo, Mamomo to Kanya Road. Okay, somebody says you should fix the Ningo Road.
Tell the person that they should go back and do their social studies well. If they did social studies, they will know that MPs don't fix roads. And me, Sam George, I never campaign on roads. I never campaign that I will do or build this or build that, because I know I took my social studies very well. And I know the role of MPs and I know the role of ministers. There's a minister for roads who is paid the salary, who gets the money for roads. Why should me, MP, why should I come and tell you that I'll fix your road? I can lobby him. But when I go and lobby him, and that road the person is talking about, there is a contractor on it. I lobbied, I've done my job. My job is to lobby. There's a contractor. The contractor's name is IB Megida. Megida is on the road. He has done work. The Ministry of Roads owes him 6.8 million Ghana cedis. Specifics. Any road they call in my constituency, there is no road in my constituency where I have not managed to lobby to get a contractor on. Megida is owed 6.8 million cedis. The Minister for Roads, I have gone to his office several times, Wafa has done the payment vouchers and sent it to the president's cousin, Ken Oforiatta. Ken is not paying. So
you could have just said the Minister of Finance. So you didn't have to say the president's cousin.
Is he the president's cousin or not?
Good morning, team.
So if they want to see their road as MPP people, they should tell their finance minister to pay the contractor to fix the road, and that road leads to the president's wife's hometown. Well, the president's wife is my mother's cousin. That's the road to her hometown. When she goes to her husband's hometown, Chebi, even in cemeteries, they've done asphalt. They pay the contractors. She should also do something for the people of Ningo where she comes from. That's the road to her hometown. The contractor is owed 6.8 million. She should make them pay.
Okay. Good morning. Please, the show run through to the noon. It's educative and lively. Lots of love to you. Somebody wants the show to run all the way to noon.
I have to go and make money and eat. I have to go and look for money to eat in this time.
So somebody's saying you make mere allegations. This type of politics is outmoded. Most of us watching the show are educated. When you make an allegation, follow it with documents like the way Honorable Ablakwa is doing.
You see, being educated doesn't mean you are intelligent. That's my response to that person. Being educated. Education is not the same as intelligence. Because if you've listened to me on this show this morning, you should tell me what is my allegation. Is our inflation 54.1% officially or not? Are we not in debt default? Is our net reserve not 6 weeks? Is it not the lowest it's been? So what are my allegations? So yes, you could be educated, but it doesn't mean you're intelligent.
We are looking for a coach for Black Stars, GFA.
Sorry, let's go look for something better to do. That job, they've given it to Chris Hutton already, so why are we wasting our time?
Already? Oh. So they shouldn't apply?
They've given it to him because they want someone they can manipulate, someone who they can use to do their business, someone who they can tell, if our team selection, okay, this one is my team player. Me, I'm at the GFA. This person plays for me, I'm his manager. Put him inside. Whether he's kicked the ball in 8 months or not, they put him inside. Look, let's not waste our time. People are doing business. You see, let's go and look for money to eat. Some people are using GFA to make money. They are using that to feed their families.
Do you have proof?
Oh. You've forgotten what happened at the World Cup. You want proof? I'll give you proof. Tell me how Baba Rahman found way into the last squad in our final game at the World Cup. What ball did he play? What ball had he played? Is Baba Rahman's agent not our GFA president? Look, people should not annoy us in this country. We are angry and we are walking. Your boy, you need powder. And I had this, and now, remember, before. We know what's going on in this country.
Honorable Sam George, thank you so much for being here today. We are super grateful. How do we make our money? We are stepping out to make some money.
You made your money. They'll pay you this money. Why are you buying?
My guest for today has been Honorable Sam Jata Nate George. And happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
Should I sing a happy birthday for you?
If your voice is sweet in Kwandia.
What if it's not?
Then don't sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
He is
the MP for Ningo Prom, and he has been our guest on Prime Insight today. We have some entertainment coming your way. Do stay. We'll be right back.